Hey, good morning, guys. At least it's good morning for me. 8 a.m. Indo-China time on Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday. And 8 p.m. New York time. And it's not Friday yet in New York. It's still Thursday evening. So here we are. Let's go over and look at the gold chart, see what's happening today. And here we are on the M15 time frame and XAU USD. And already starting to move down. And I can adjust my trend lines. This is the 8 o'clock candle. So actually, this would have been over here. That's the 7:45 candle there, 15 minutes before the Indo-China market opened, Asia Pacific, Singapore, and Shanghai. And we had a big move down with the opening of the Singapore and Shanghai markets. Over here, let's see, that's the opening of Tokyo right there. As soon as Tokyo opened, they started to bring it down, went back up to where they started, and then came back down again. And I hope you're having a good day wherever you are. My day is just getting started. I've already had my first cup of tea. And if you're watching, let me know where you're watching from. If you got any comments or questions, I'm here every day, Monday to Friday, for the opening of the Asia Pacific market, at least the opening of Singapore and Shanghai. I don't get up, I don't get up early enough for the opening of Tokyo. If you can hear me all okay, just yeah. What happened today? Hey, Jokan. Well, there's nothing happening today yet, except the Tokyo market pushed it down a little bit, and now we're just waiting to see what Singapore and Shanghai are going to do. So if you can hear me okay, I'm using a new microphone and I had to set everything up a little bit differently. Just type in the chat there, all good. Sound is okay. Type one, whatever. Let me know you can't hear me. So while we're waiting for this first candle, this is my strategy. Starting at 8 o'clock, I wait for that first 15-minute candle to finish before making a decision about a trade setup, whether to go long or short. So what's happening today? Well, we'll go back here and look at yesterday. This is all of yesterday. From here over across here, what you can see is yesterday. And this was our high of yesterday. And down here was our low. We had this was the Asia low here yesterday, about 40, the 45.81. And then it came down and touched the low again in the New York session. This was about just an hour before New York opened, but Chicago was already open. So here's where we had some news came out last night in the New York session. This was the unemployment claims, and it was good news for the U.S., better than forecast. So that put pressure on gold, and we saw this big drop down. And just like I always say, the high impact news can often be a knee jerk reaction because then, after that reaction, on the hour, it started to make its way back up. And Wall Street just kept pushing it up. We had a high of about 46.25 during the New York session. Then it fell down for a while, then back up, and then it was a real seesaw. Mostly during Wall Street, it was mostly just a seesaw, sideways action. That's what we saw all day, all evening, all during the U.S. session. So that's what happened yesterday. Now, what's happening today? It looks like we are turning bearish. Well, you say metals are bearish. Gold is bullish on the day chart, and yesterday it just turned neutral on the H4 chart. So look at this. I wouldn't say metals are bearish. I'd say we're looking at a bigger time frame. We're setting a new, just setting the structure here, consolidation. We can look at the 4 hour time frame right quick. I've got some notes on my 4 hour chart, so it might look a little confusing, but you can see just in a range here. Oh, we've got a bearish candle starting today. This is the first 4 hour candle. But yesterday, just in this tight range here, between 46.33 and about 45, was that 45.90? So that's the 4 hour chart. Ever since that big move up, then we just kind of consolidating in this tight range here. This is the 4 hour chart, the bigger picture. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say metals are bearish. Maybe for a day trade, or certainly for scalping. Absolutely for scalping, yeah. And what we might do, we might get back down to, it might come back down to this previous low from yesterday. This was 45.81 was the previous low yesterday. So it might come down and just break below that before starting back up during the day. And our first 15-minute candle here, just kind of trying to fake us out to go short. Don't chase the candles, guys. If you trade on the 15-minute chart, wait for that candle to finish. Any chart that you trade on, wait for the candle to finish because it can change. Look at that. See, this was a bearish move, and now it's a bullish move. So I guess you guys can hear me okay. Nobody's saying anything. Nobody's commenting that there's no sound. Thank goodness it's Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday. TG. Yeah. I love Fridays because I love sleeping in on Saturday. Stay up late. For me, it's late to stay up and watch the New York session. And then I get up early for the Asian session. 10 minutes gone on this first Joking, what time frame do you trade on? You trade on the 15-minute chart? Yeah, hopefully we have a not hopefully, we will. We will have a great trading day today. It's all about just being patient and waiting for the trade setup that we're looking for. We will definitely have a great trading day today. If there is no trade setup, then there is no trade. No trade is a good trade. So another 3 minutes on this 15-minute chart. And while we're waiting on that candle to finish another 2 minutes, I just want to remind everybody that I have a free trading course for beginners. It's a 10 video tutorial and it's absolutely free. And it's the foundation, the basic setup to help you get started. So if you need to learn how to sign up with a broker, how to use MT4, all the functions and features, how to place pending orders, buy limits, sell limits, buy stops, sell stops, uh, risk management, trading with the news, everything you need to get started. 10 video tutorials. It's on the website and it's absolutely free, no obligation. So just let me know that you'd like to have that, you'd like to have access to that, and you can do that just by message me on my Telegram ID. That's at Rick Ray FX, and just request the free trading course. And I'll give you the link, and I'll also give you the password. It is password protected. Okay. And if you just want to have a look at my website, that is rickrayfx.com, where you can find more information about forex trading. There's free indicators available for download. I talk about prop firms on there. More information about trading and how you can dive deeper and start building on what you're learning now or what you've already learned over the years. We're always learning in this industry, always learning. The market changes and we have to adapt to the changes. Okay, that's a really good question there, Token. So the first 15-minute candle has finished. Now we're starting the next candle. And here is my strategy. What you see is what I use to take my trades. There's nothing else that I use for planning trades. This is called the trend line strategy. If it breaks below this upward trend line and it closes below this upward trend line, then for me, that's a short trade. And of course, opposite, if it breaks above and closes above the red downward trend line, for me, that's a long trade. It's as simple as that. Now, let's say this candle here will close below, break and close below the upward green trend line, then I'll go short. And I would put my stop loss above the downward trend line, the red line. That becomes my safety line. But there's one caveat there. That would be a very, very wide stop loss. So for me, that would not be a trade setup. I want it to be a more reasonable stop loss. If this came down here and say it closed at 40, 40, 45.98, say I have a short trade right there, then my stop loss would need to be at 46.22. That's a $20 stop loss. Too much risk. So I need to get more in this area here. The trend lines need to be closer together for me for that to be a valid trade setup. And that's it. This is a top-down analysis. I start with a monthly chart and put the trend lines on, then go down to the weekly, then the daily, then the 4 hour, then the 15 minute. These lines go all the way back to the monthly chart. This one is a little bit out of whack here. I didn't see that. Let me reset that, and yeah, this one's a little bit off. Don't know how that got there. Yeah, this should actually be on this touch point here, right there. Too early in the morning. Okay, now gotta have it on the touch point. We cannot break through any pin bars or wicks like that. Now, so this one definitely did not close below, and it looks like this one here might not. We might just be going sideways for a while. And then I do have a couple of other lines on here. This blue line, this is the pivot point for the day, the starting point for the day. And then I have this first support level, and then up higher I have the first resistance level. Now I get these levels. I do have an indicator for that on MT5, and it adjusts the support and resistance levels, the pivot point, on a daily basis. It adjusts those automatically, and then I just place those here on TradingView as a visual representation of where support and resistance are. Give me an idea. But that's the only indicator I use. You can draw your own support and resistance, but I just find it easier to use the indicator. I've been using the same indicator for more than 10 years, and it's very accurate. It updates itself every day with the start of the market, putting the different levels of resistance and support. Oh, just dropped the internet there momentarily. Okay, we're back, I think. Yeah. As I have said many times, my internet connection is not so good at the condo where I stay, so sometimes it drops connection. Did that clarify that for you, Jokan, explaining the strategy that I use? If you're watching, be sure to like and share. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you're taking a trade today. Have you already taken a trade? Asia and Singapore opened about 20 minutes ago, and Singapore and Shanghai. Tokyo, Japan opened 1 hour and 20 minutes ago. And this is what you get in the Asian market. It's slow, steady move, slow and steady. Not like over here in the U.S. session where you get huge, massive, big volume, big moves. But that's why I like the Asian market to start my day off. Sometimes I can get a good trade set up. Sometimes the trend will start in the Asian session and then continues throughout the day. But if you get a good trade set up according to your strategy, then you can usually make 50 or 100 pips. Makes it a good start to the day. Okay, you're planning on trading the New York session. Cool. I always do the New York session as well. I always do the New York session live trading. I come online when New York opens. That's 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in 9:30 p.m. in Indochina, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand. And my chart looks a little bit different during the New York session because by then it's already had the Asian session, already had the London session, and I have some more support and resistance lines that I'm looking at. I have the Asia high, the Asia low. Um, so the chart looks just a little bit different by the time we get to the end of the day. There is no high impact news today, by the way, guys. We had news this week, high impact news on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but there's nothing today on Friday. So we might just get kind of a boring sideways session for the Asian session. And in London, let's see what they do. And then New York might be a little bit more active, but there is no high impact news today. So while we're here just watching this next candle, we got another 5 minutes on that candle. Go over here and look at platinum. Oh, I need to adjust my lines here on the 15-minute chart. That one's no good anymore. And this one I can see where that one is. Yeah, I can adjust that one a little bit. You cannot break any candles. Okay, that's better. And then this one here, put below that first candle there. And I can come in steeper now with the trend lines. On the short-term chart, you can come in steeper. You don't want to go back you don't want them to be too close, too steep. That's a very valid trend line there. That's from yesterday. Okay. So if this breaks above that red trend line, that would be a long trade on platinum, except again, my stop loss would be way down here below the green line. So that's too much of a stop loss. And then we'll look at copper. We've got some trends on copper. Wow, I had a big drop on copper last night. That's the metals. They all kind of go pretty much together. Let me reset the chart here. Okay, I need to come in steeper there with a line. Got a touch point there and a touch point there. Oh, I can come in steeper on the bottom. You can make the trend lines any color you want. It's just this is my style. Let me get rid of that. Okay, I didn't quite get that one placed correctly. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, this is copper looking now. See, what I'm looking for is something like here where the trend lines are closer together. If this breaks above and I went long, then I would have a stop loss right in here, more reasonable. This is what I'm talking about for the risk management. And I can tell you before I take any trade, I always look first to see where would I put my stop loss. Risk management is my priority, not the entry. Risk management is my priority. So I can see now if this broke above here and I went long, where would I put my stop loss? So before I take the trade, I know my stop loss would be right here. And then I can adjust, I can calculate how much of a risk that is. I don't risk more than 1% on any trade. And then let's look at oil. Oil has been very volatile lately. Look at that. Wow. Huge drop yesterday in the Asian market. I was looking at trading oil this year. I only traded gold last year. I was looking at adding one asset and trading oil this year. But my broker, I used a couple of brokers and they have the spread is way too much. So I'm probably going to add platinum. Probably going to add platinum. This is platinum. And you see how it trends during the day. You get in long here and that lasts all day long. Platinum tends to trend very well. And as this is a trend trading strategy, that's what you want to trade an asset that trends very well. Hey, Raj, did you just get home from work? Good to see you joining in. Oh, you slept in? What was this question from Jokan? Uh, okay, this is another good question. How do you know to enter a trade? Let me go back to the chart. I thought I explained that. Let me go to the gold chart. Here we are on the 15-minute chart. Okay, so I've got the trend. The trend lines are in place, right? I've got the upward trend line. This goes all the way back to the monthly chart. I do a top-down analysis. Goes all the way back to the monthly chart, and you find the touch points. It cannot cross any points here. This is not a valid trend line if it looks like that. You connect it to the previous touch points. Same with the downward trend line, the red one. They're both go back and find the previous touch points. And this one was back here. Okay, that was the all-time high from day before yesterday, 46.43. And then here's the next touch point right there. So you've got your trend line set up. How do you know when to take a trade? Well, as I said, this breaks below the upward trend line. If this breaks below that and closes, if it goes down and closes below that trend line, then I go short. I wait for that candle to close. Now you see what happened when the Asian market opened, it faked us out. So, if you jump on that candle, you chase the candle and you go short, and then it came back up. Now you're in a big loss. So always wait for the candle to close. And then opposite from that, okay, it's going up now. If it comes up here and it breaks above and closes above this red line, then I go long. That's how I know to enter a trade based on this strategy. But I'm looking at this now. If this jumped up here and broke and closed above this red line right here, my stop loss would be down here under the safety line. And that's too much of a stop loss. That's over 200 pips. So what I'm looking for is something like I showed you just on, I think it was platinum. Well, even that one's too far away. Which one was it? Copper, I believe. Now this is more reasonable here, getting over where you've got less distance between the trend lines. Okay, back on gold, and we're just bouncing off of our pivot point for the day. The starting point for the day is kind of a magnet, and this pivot point, the starting point, it'll either bounce off of that and come down, or it'll break above it and move away from it. Did that answer your question, Jochen? Oh, we've got 7 people watching today. Wow. We haven't had a big group like this year. I think it's the biggest one so far. A couple of days ago, had about 90 views. A lot of people watching the recording. That's encouraging that people are watching that at least. But I'd like to get more people joining in here. If you're new, let me know where you're watching from. If you want to send me a message, my Telegram ID is @RickRayFX. I'll add you to my Telegram group if you want. I have a group of traders and we chat a little bit, not too much. I post the daily news. I post some videos in there, and just a group of traders that I've met over the years. Not a crazy group. It doesn't pop up all the time. But if you're new here and watching, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Press the little bell so you'll be notified. And of course, like and share. I do appreciate that more than anything, because that does help the channel. A couple people bailed out. Now we've got 5 watching. TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday. I love Fridays. That means I can sleep in tomorrow on Saturday, because I watch the New York session, which is late in the evening for me, go to bed after midnight, and then I get up early for the Asian session. So I don't sleep much during the week, and I catch up with my sleep on the weekend. Where are those things? Hmm. Very quiet day today on the Asian market. Just look at the 1 hour chart briefly. Yeah, that first red candle was Tokyo pushing it down, and then we got a fake out with the beginning of Singapore and Shanghai. They did not continue down, but they're pushing it back up. And then we might have on the hour, it's in about 20 minutes. Sometimes on the hour, you'll get a reversal of the first candle, the first hourly candle in the Asian market, sometimes. And the day before yesterday, we had the all-time high, that's 46.43. And the day before that, we had the all-time high of 46.30. We're now 46.43. So not too much going on today. It looks like it's wanting to turn bullish and move to higher prices. But it's just consolidating here around the midpoint, the pivot point for the day, starting point, 45.07. Is that 46.07? Sorry, guys. The numbers are real small on my chart, and I've got my laptop pretty far away from me. Okay, guys, I'm going to sign out for today. Not much going on so far. Sometimes it's a little bit slow to kick in. Maybe another hour it might do something. You never know. Sometimes it starts off with a bang, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm going to sign off for today, and thank you for being here. I appreciate you following, and just let me know if you have any questions. Leave it in the comments. I will get back to you. And wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a great, successful trading day, and I hope you have a great weekend. All right, if you want to join me in the New York session, I'll be here at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York. Okay. Have a great weekend, and